With me at the moment I have Mr. Peter Eriksson, Mr. Mak Jawar, and Mr. Kurt Elwell.
Hello.
All three have been involved in the RO business for many years in somewhat different capacities, some paralleling some of our previous interviewees and some doing other things. Kurt, how did it come about that somebody suddenly decided that FRP was a much better material for the pressure vessel than steel?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it actually all came about. Rick Leeson was involved in that. I did all the prototype testing and building and blowing things up at General Atomic, and they had a pit there. We actually put strain gauges on the fiberglass outer lay. You can measure, the cross diagonal, and you can measure the length as it gets pressurized. And you can watch this thing, and you can read numbers, and okay, the vessel's growing, and pretty soon it would explode in this big pit. And we did a lot of that kind of stuff, but they were involved in changing all the steel vessels down in Florida to fiberglass right on site. Mm-hmm. They took the steel vessels and some of the swamplands down there in the Everglades, they took those steel pipes and put the houses on the steel pipes.
Speaking of evolution of membrane technology, if you will, and some of the development that has taken place, like I said before, fluid system was always in the forefront. Mm-hmm. And it was within Dr. Seymour Krement's group, the thought process started about going to fiberglass pressure tubes.
Right. And FilmTec never did want to be in the systems business.
That's right. But they wanted to buy Advanced Structures.
Huh?
They wanted to buy Peter Roberts' company, Advanced Structures.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
because
that. Because
when I got was an extra $10 million for some raised capital, and I thought there are a lot of customers, and I wanted with the elements, the pressure vessels, so why not with money, why not buy the company? But what I've been told, Peter Roberts didn't want to sell it.
Yet. Not yet, anyhow.
Yeah.
So, but there was no thought at FilmTec to go into system business. No.
Right. Were you there when they developed the nanofiltration membrane?
I was there when it was introduced. Of course, this was the membrane developed years before, but I was there when we made it commercial. And I was the person that came up with the name nanofiltration.
Oh, you were?
Yes, because we must have a name for it. Mm. And Roy Larsson, who was the VP marketing here, one of the founders, he thought we call it hybrid filtration. Because they had in Israel, they had some membrane, CA membrane, they bought 70% reduction of sodium chloride for, they called it hybrid filtration. And Roy thought, I should call it hybrid filtration. But I said, no way, it's not a hybrid, it's a membrane, it's not a hybrid membrane. Mm. So I thought for a long time, month, and then Roy said, no, you might come up with a name here. The same day I said, that struck me. Nanofiltration was the right word for it. Like we have microfiltration, now to micron size pores. Now we have pore size about 1 nanometer. It could be nanofiltration. And of course, I would prefer to call RONF be nanofiltration because there is so small difference in the pore size.
The urban legend is that it was the brainchild of Paul Collar, who was the president of Basic Technologies.
Correct.
And he persuaded Fluid Systems to deliberately destroy a CA membrane to give him the characteristics he was looking for.
The nanofiltration, right.
That's true?
I have heard that story. I'm not sure exactly how far that was. CA, of course, had a property, which with time, it would get hydrolyzed, right, no matter what you did,
Right.
So your salt passage would increase,
Right.
And basically, the rule of thumb was in 3 years it would double, so we called it 3-year life.
I remember going to a meeting at It's a city council meeting at, I think it was Hollywood, Florida, many years ago. And Dave Furukawa was there. He was working for FilmTec at the time. And Paul Culler, I think. They were making a presentation to the city council about this new type of membrane so they could get rid of their lime softening plants and the lime sludge issues and all those other things. And I think that was the first time anybody had really publicly announced that this technology was available.
Anytime you have a new technology, there is a certain amount of market resistance, that comes with it,
Right.
It takes a lot longer to educate people, or let's say the market area, because if the technology is ahead of the market, that technology is not going too far.
Right.
You have to prepare the market, so that they can accept that technology. And I think, this is one great lesson that we have learned over the last 40 years, as to how to prepare market, so they can accept your new technology or new findings. Actually, I started changing my thinking rather than just simply desalination or water use, taking membrane technology more into as a separation technology in chemical processes.
Right.
Because I saw, during this period, I saw that there was a great need in chemical process industry, for recovering byproduct chemicals. And water would just be simply a byproduct, Chemical had, a lot more value.
A lot more value.
So I started concentrating more and more on separation, membrane technology as a separation technology rather than desalination technology.
If you were graduating from college and you were considering your future, would you do it again? Good?
I think I would, definitely. Yes.
It's been fun.
Maybe I'll do it my next career.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I want to do yet.
Mac, how about you?
I tell you, my advisor at University of Missouri, when I first got the job offer from Fairbanks Morse to work in water treatment and wastewater type of situation, I went to him and I told him, that I have these 2-3 different offers, and being a chemical engineer, I wanted to get either in petrochemical industry or plastics industry. And that's where, the jobs were, and they were quite lucrative as compared to what Fairbanks Morse was giving me.
Right.
He said, no, Mac, you stick into this industry. And he was so prophetic, I think. In my estimate, water industry is a very honest profession. It gives you a lot of satisfaction, and it's a good profession.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you overnight rich like an IT industry will, but
Well,
nevertheless,
but
you're
you can
never
always
short
hope.
of work.
You can always hope.
It's always interesting.
Peter, how about
So,
you?
Yes, when I started with membranes, I was quite certain this would be expanding field. So there would be no problem to find a job in the
Right.
future. And it has been so. And if people start now, those who graduate from college today, if they like it, water. I like water very much. I like water in the woods. I like waterfalls. I just like water. If they do the same thing, go into water because it will be there forever.
Right.
People need water. There's no doubt.